Alright, so prior to watching this map clear video in Damage Showcase, keep in mind on this character, I'm a big stupid and my Cluster Jewel has mastered the fundamentals, and this is an Elemental Blade Blast build. Pure Elemental, 100% Elemental damage, it's all fire. Yeah, so I was doing 35% reduced on mental damage, and I mean, you can see how that'd be a bad thing, right? I mean, if you don't get that, then you got issues, okay? So, I'll show you the video now. Just keep that in mind. So the map clear is like, it's not insane, but it's okay. You get a lot of boom booms, but it's not a particularly like super zoom build. I mean, it's like certainly good, but it's not like insane. You don't have like Plague Bear or anything. You gotta Blade Blast each pack, and they all explode, and then you explode, tattoo yourself a bit. Then you have a lot of AoEs, elemental damage. I hate lawnmowers. Ban lawnmowers. Yeah. So. Now the clear wasn't really impacted by me taking that passive on the Cluster Jewel, but you'll definitely see it on the single target. And the boss of this map is not too good for single target either. Let me skip it to it. So here, see the boss. It's pretty bad. So this is like the worst case scenario. She has Conquer Influence, which makes her tankier. She wipes my curses, because that's what she does. She's cheating! She wipes the curses. She also moves a ton, and you get Enfeebled and Temp Changed, which all impact your DPS, so it's really bad. And then on this guy, it's just that I have reduced damage, and yeah. Just not my finest showcase video, but hey, rather undersell it than oversell it, I guess. It's so bad, dude. Yeah, I goofed on this one hard. I goofed hard. And this build sucks. Look, the Blade Blast character's better. See, and there's my shield, and it's gonna. All right, so the POB. Thanks to Gucci for putting together most of it, and then I optimized a few things because he put it together in like 5 minutes because I was too lazy to do it. But so we're sitting at like 17 million DPS now. It's hard to calculate the true DPS of this build because the way Blade Blast is, it's going to be different on every single boss based on their hitbox and based on how much they move. So this is like a rough average-ish kind of. So we have in config here, we have these two things. It's just since it's an Elementalist, convergence is not always up, it's rotating. So it's up half of the time. So here it's just 15% more instead of here it is 30% more. And then we have this one, which rotates, which is every 10 seconds, gain 30% for 4 seconds. So it's just, you get 12% here in the config. If you get rid of them and just like go full POB warrior, this is what it looks like with the damage. Then if you include like focus buff, you get a lot of damage here. Onslaught, because you should, well, you know, like if you have a Circle of Anguish with Onslaught, I got one for like 15 Divines, probably way more expensive now. But yeah, if you're going full POB warrior, this is probably the damage you see. But it's not really realistic, and yeah. So around 17 million is probably, maybe more around 20 is where your average damage will be, but it really depends on the boss. Like On some bosses, it's really, really bad because they just keep moving and it's not good. Such as the way with Blade Blast, and other bosses you will completely one-shot. Like, for example, Katava, or like any really huge boss, you will just obliterate. Now, the unfortunate thing is a lot of the pinnacle bosses are not that big, so yeah. Our max hits pretty good here. 35k max hit. This build is able to hit actually 100% of the physical damage you take to elemental damage. So I'm not sure if it is in this PoB. I'm not sure if it is. No, it's not. It's only like 64, 69, 74. I might add some stuff to show you what you need to get 200. But yeah. Cool. Life, nothing crazy. 5.6k. It is an evasion character, and since you convert so much of your physical damage you take into elemental, you don't really need to worry too much about armor, so no need for determination. Skills. We got Blade Blast, Woke AoE. So Awakened Control Destruction, I'm not so sure about this one. When I used it, the EO uptime left something to be desired, so I'd probably not actually use that, and I'd use like Intensify, which gives you similar damage if you stand still and just get your Intensify stacks up, and the increased AoE on it also helps. So if you feel like Intensify is not the option, I'm not sure what else you'd really go. Maybe Empower or Fire Penetration, but yeah. Then Awakened Elemental Focus, Awakened Added Fire, yeah, and then Cruelty. Aura's Grace, Haste, Herald of Ash, Purity of Elements. This build does use a lot of reservation tattoos. So before you get those, you will have to drop something, which will probably be what you'll do is, instead of running Zealotry on a Divine Blessing, you can use Haste on your Divine Blessing, and then you run Herald of Ash, Purity of Elements, and Grace, and you should be able to fit that without the reservation stuff. Ability Elemental Weakness. So I did include a Balance of Terror here. You gain Fizz as random element if you cast out weakness, and if you cast Flammability, you get fire exposure on hit. So this allows you to clear up a Eldritch thing on your gloves, because usually you get fire exposure on your gloves, but with this jewel, you no longer have to. So you really want those two mods. If you can't get those two mods, then you will not have the fizzed fire on your gloves, and you would use fire exposure, because fire exposure has a huge amount of damage on Elementalists, like huge. So, but highly recommend getting a 2-mod this. I have no idea what that costs. Probably not much. The Flammability mod is not that sought after, so it's probably pretty cheap. So, but okay, so something about that, I'm not in the PoB as Arcanist brand, but I don't know if Arcanist brand casting your curses works with Balance of Terror, so you should probably test that. It should be easy to test because you gain 30% of Fizz as if you cast Elemental Weakness, so you can test that out. I just never used Arcanist brand. I prefer to self-cast everything. And if you do self-cast everything, what you can do is you could take this mastery here, and so everything you cast, so you cast Blade Blast, Blade Fall, Flam, and Elemental Weakness, and that gives you gives you 24% cast speed total, so that actually gives you a little bit more damage, which is pretty nice actually. So I'd recommend doing that actually. I would recommend doing that. So I'm just gonna get rid of that, but just know if you wanna make things a little bit more lazy, you can use Arcanist Brand. If you feel like there's too many buttons, then Divine Blessing, Zealotry, but I kind of explained that with haste earlier. Bladefall. Links are Spell Cascade. Conk Effect, you want to make sure you get Anomalous Conk Effect. It's good for your damage. And then Unleash. While mapping, you swap out Concentrated. Well, you don't have to. It's just like up to you. Conk Effect for Combustion. Combustion will help out your clear because your blades will be more spread out, which is not what you want for single target, but it's like perfectly fine for mapping. And yeah. Shield Charge, Flame Dash, Steel Skin. Right. Okay. I guess I'll go over the items. The wand is here. You know what I'm gonna do? I wrote something up on how to make the wand, so I will put that in notes. Oh god. Well, I'll do that after because it didn't. Okay. It'll be in notes, okay? On how to craft the wand. You want it to be a pagan base. Your shield. You have two options here. You can use Dawnbreaker or a rare shield with suppression. So before you get a ton of fizz reduction, or before you convert a ton of your fizz taken as to an elemental, I'd probably recommend Dawnbreaker, and then after that you can swap to a rare shield which has suppression, and then you will be able to cap your suppression. If you use a Dawnbreaker, you will not be able to cap it. Though you can get pretty close, and then you use the chance to suppress elemental damage or suppress spell damage is lucky, and you'll get really close. So if you want to do that, and that's like a budgeter version, you could do that for sure. Okay. Helmet, you're just going for special knife. You want an open prefix, so you can do fizz taken as fire, and you can craft that with loathing, and then cast speed and fizz taken as fire for the Eldritch. Then you're going for lightning coil with +2 AoE gems. You don't need the +2, but it's more damage. The gloves, you're looking for Herald of Ash, increased buff effect, and then you want to get 25% fizz damage converted to fire, so you can get the full, like, you can go full conversion. Now, before you get those, you can swap this Fire Mastery to, 40% fizz converted to fire, and then that'll solve any conversion issues, but when you get 100% conversion with your gloves, you can swap to this mastery, and it gives you some more damage. And then, so yeah, you're gonna get the attack and cast speed while focused. That you're gonna have to Ashling that on as a veiled mod, and then craft 25% fizz damage converted to fire. Boots, suppression, life, movement speed, effective non-damaging elements. And then your implicits will be action speed. Fizz is fire. Amulet, we're looking for the replica Dragon's Flight, +3 Blade Blast. No, you cannot replace this with an Ashes if you have an Ashes. Or want to use Ashes, you can't, because the AoE will screw up your AoE, basically. You do not want that. And you can't even swap your Blade Fall to a different quality. Anomalous, bad. The Divergent, bad. So you cannot use Ashes, have to use Replica Dragon Fans. Your ring is, this is a little bit tough to get for sure in this ring. It's not what I'd use, actually. It's what Gucci put in. So to solve your regen issues, because you don't really have any regen, just get a ring. Doesn't, whatever base you need. I'll just use amethyst. You want to get a shaper ring, and you want to get gain life for enemy who hit spells. And that gives you a ton of regen, because you hit so many times, right? So you'll be getting like 1,000 damage. I mean, 1,000 HP every pack you hit, pretty much. So something like that, something crazy. I mean, you hit like so many times. Hit 40 times with Blade Fall, hit 40 times with Blade Blast. Boom. That's like 1,000 life. Then you're going to want to use a Circle of Anguish with fire damage and increased buff effect. Look for really any good implicits you can get. Ideally, you get the Onslaught one. If you can't get the Onslaught one, then you just would get, on your boots, you get the Onslaught thing. So when you're doing maps, you have Onslaught. So you get Onslaught kill. Then your belt, you're just going to use a crystal belt with some res and life. And I think there is a good slam you can do for like Warlord or something. Yeah, Warlord slam on your belt for prefix is really good. You can increase damage, which is obviously good. You can get fire damage, which is good. Armor is not bad if you're not at 100% capped. If you are 100% converted Fizz to Heli, then it's useless. But you probably won't be for a while, so. And then you also got flat damage against burning enemies, which is not bad. So I'll just put that there. And that shouldn't be too hard to get either. So the hardest pieces of gear to get are, I mean, I wouldn't describe your wand as hard, but it will probably cost you around 20 divines. Shield is easy. Even the suppression shield should be pretty easy. It's standard suppression shield. This is pretty standard too. You don't necessarily need the loathing one. You could replace with more tattoos, but I mean, with loathing, this is pretty tough to get. What you could do, if you want to like cut a little bit corners, like you're in softcore or whatever, you could get the mana reservation efficiency implicit on it with Eater currency. Gloves, pretty easy to get. Boots, also pretty easy to get. So none of the rare items are really like insane. They're all pretty not that bad, except the helmet. The helmet tier is pretty tough to get. You'd also use Taste of Hate while you're not Fizz capped. I mean, even when you are Fizz capped, it's like still decent damage, so I'd use that. Going on to the jewels. Lethal Pride, you're going to be looking for you're going to mainly be looking for Fizz damage. Take it as fire. The more you can get, the better. The more tanky you'll become. Then you're just looking, besides that, you're just looking for like damage things. Double damage. Actually, resistance is pretty nice because using Lightning Coil, you lose minus 60 res, so. The res is actually not bad. Life is okay. But you're looking for damage like Fizz damage. You can get gain Fizz's extra fire, which is good. Just regular physical. Yeah, you're just looking stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty straightforward there. Anything that would increase your damage is good. I went over the Balance of Terror. Watcher's Eye. This one is cast speed, but what you're gonna actually want to get is a Watcher's Eye. Where is it? What you're gonna actually want to get is Purity of Elements, and then take Fizz as fire. It doesn't have to be fire, any element actually. Well, if you're gonna be using Taste of Hate, I guess you want to get Fizz taken as cold. Would be the best. So There you go. That's probably what you want to do. Something about the Lethal Pride, actually. While you're mapping, you can swap your Lethal Pride out for a Warrior's Tail. Because here in the Warrior's Tail, we have a bunch of explodey tattoos, and it'll give you even more explode chance. Optional if you want to do that or not, but I'd maybe do it. I don't know. I'm too lazy, so I probably wouldn't do it. But if you want to do it, good. Yeah, got a bunch of explodey tattoos there. The Cluster Jewel, going for 8 passives, increase physical damage, battle hardened. Iron Breaker is actually not ideal, but I mean, you're really just going for a 3 passive one. So I think what is better? Yeah. Well, I guess you can't go master the fundamentals. Wait a minute. Hold your horses. I need to check something. I think. Well, this might. Wait. Oh, shoot. Okay. Oh my god. So in the video, I had Master the Fundamentals on, which gives you 35% reduced elemental damage. Oh my god, no wonder I was doing no damage, dude. Oh my god. So in the video of the map clear, keep in mind I'm doing like 35% less damage for no reason. Well, for a very clear reason, but holy shit. Wow. I blew it. Anyways, that's the PoE.